All right, so we hit the fifth cache, which was the last of Verada Store's caches in the Great Peaks. We went to the tallest summit of the Great Peaks, in which we found a bell with a mallet. We spoke a phrase, or someone, Valen spoke a phrase, and smacked the bell, answered the riddle, and we were allowed into, past a barrier into a cave. Had some trouble with some great giant owls, I think it was, and from there we went into, we ended up finding a shrine of Anam. He's the creator of the Ordning and a giant, a god among the giants. We fought through some kind of little wicked guys that explode when you die. I forget the exact names of them, but
The Frost Mephits and the Smoke
Mephit.
Mephit, yeah.
Yeah, the Mephits get like big long noses, and every time they don't have a whole heck of a lot of health, but once they go down, they take you with them.
Nobody was waiting for you to get out of the way either, Shem.
Nah, you run right into them. Like I said, the best way a fighter to finds a trap is to trip it. So there you go. We closed into the altar. The braziers shot a flame, and the Mephits came out from the braziers themselves. He rushed and engaged. Ended up dispatching the Mephits. Crawled up onto the kind of the altar, or the altar that was at the end of it, and ended up being having a giant come in. Craddock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Craddock. Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, after we looted some of the gold plates that were up there, ended up finding a way to make it look as though the cultists that had perished behind the altar had ransacked the place, and he was pretty kind to us. We didn't have to get beat the hell up by a storm giant.
It's pretty ingenious. I liked it.
From there,
You guys
then
talked your way out of it.
Craddock got us some griffins, and we were able to hitch a ride back to Parnast.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So you guys had a couple of days. You guys had 5 days of R&R. And as you guys were in Parnas, what did you guys do during those 5 days of downtime? Did Keleth, did you do anything in particular? Did you spend your downtime in any way, maybe carousing or doing anything for your faction?
Studied my book. Probably just studied my book, mostly the spell book.
All right.
I was boozing it up and carousing.
Were you carousing? Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
In true half-orc fashion, nothing left untouched.
All right, so 5 days. So spend your 5 days. Yeah.
Is it 5 gold a day?
It is. I think isn't it 10 gold a day for carousing? It's either 5 or 10.
I got charged 5 for my other character.
Let's do 5 then. I'll look it up
I'll change my
afterwards.
gold. I'll spend my gold and then take a roll.
Yep, and then take your days
Oh,
off
that
to.
was so close.
Okay, so let's
It's
see.
90 rolled over to a 30.
I know. So it looks like you're basically caught up in a whirlwind romance. Oh my gosh. You determine the identity of the love interest subject to to the DM's approval. If the romance ends badly, you might gain a new flaw. If it ends well or is ongoing, your new love interest might represent a new bond. So what happened? How'd you get caught up in this whirlwind romancer? I gotta hear
I
this.
ended up befriending a fellow half-orc.
What was her name?
What was his name?
His name, yeah.
I knew someone was going to say that.
Her name, let's say it was Lucy.
Lucy
Loosetongue. There we go. She showed me a hell of a time, but she's not really my type. But her brother seemed to think I was taking advantage of her, and we ended up not coming to good terms with each other.
What? So
your
brother, huh?
Oh, I had to cast a sleep spell to keep from punching him out. So
nice. So let's see. If you are going to gain a new flaw, the whirlwind romance flaw, I'm going to say that I'll give it a 50-50 chance. So I mean, are you still kind of liking Lucy still, or was it just kind of?
Oh God, no!
Just
I want nothing to do with her.
okay.
She's be like, if it's anything, I'm sure she's going to be like a constant reminder of everything bad that happens when someone gets really attached to someone I don't care about.
Yeah. So was it the intervening on the brother's part? Now, is that what kind of pushed you away from her, or you already kind of pushed away from the beginning? You were just
No, this is a one-night thing, and then the brother walks in on us the next morning and thinks we need to get hitched and shit needs to happen. Well, I have nothing to do with that. I'm a bit of a loner, have no idea or no need to settle down, especially with some half-orc wench, and I don't think he's going to be very friendly going forward.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, give me a percentile die in the tower, and we'll come back to this later on. So, looks like you've just went ahead and caroused for 5 days. Picked up old Lucy. So deduct your 5 days of downtime, spend your gold.
Yep.
And there you go, and then drop that into the tower whenever you can. So after Shen, pick up the die. Left click it, right click it, hit the percent, or you can actually just right click on the 10-sided die at the bottom there and then click on the percent sign. Or
gotcha.
that's the best thing to do actually. And just drop it in the tower and we'll get back to you. Alright. Let's see, it was from Kel.
Yeah, just testing it. Let's see how it works.
Okay. Yep, gotcha. All right. Thanks, Joe. That was a great roll, by the way.
Great.
All right. So, Shen, what have you been doing for the last 5 days?
Shen, in true sailor fashion, was carousing as well.
Nice. You got the carousing table up, bud?
Yep, I see it.
All right. Roll it. Let's see what happened. Deduct your 5 days. We'll take your first roll, which will be a 78. So it looks like, wow, looks like you were actually pretty lucky during your 5 days, Shen.
You really could have warned me about this crazy bitch.
You know, teach your own, you know. I let you do what you want to do.
It was a fun night. It was a good couple of hours.
Yeah, you know. Visit a new port or call. You got to see what's out there.
Well, there is really no seafaring things going on around here in Parnas, but nonetheless the spirit lives on and there's still a bunch of carousing. So you won modest earnings. That's pretty good. So you recuperate your 25 gold worth of expenses during this time. So what happened during this 5 days? I guess you and Shen probably kind of tangled up too.
Yeah, me and Shem was, you know, walking around, checking out the local establishments, and he met up with Lucy, and, you know, I was just kind of giving him the eye, thinking, really, dude? But
she looked good after, you know, a cask of ale.
It's beer goggles.
You're supposed to warn a brother, Shen.
So while he was off having his adventure, I just thought I would catch up on a local dice game in the back of the tavern. You know, pretty much broke even.
Yeah, not too bad. At least you didn't come out a loser.
Yeah.
What about Valen? What did Valen do for 5 days? Were you carousing with these hoodlums as well? Or were you kind of doing your thing?
Valen was at the local temple. If it was his, I worship Mistra. If not, it was just a local temple helping out there for the common people, the poor.
Cool. So you were basically just helping with adventurers coming in from the Grey Peak Mountains that were wounded and all that other good stuff. Travelers going by, kind of aiding them, fixing wagons for caravans and whatnot.
Yeah, and I also donated 20 gold to the local.
Wow, very nice. All right. So during your time here in Parnas, all of you were contacted, and all of you have been giving some notes that you had found. So if you're, part of your faction has contacted you. So you don't have to speak about this in the open, but you guys have all been congregating in the tavern, and there is some things that need to happen out to the east, and you need to make this travel. Your faction has asked you, and you know, all of your factions know that you guys have worked together for quite some time. So you're going to be taken to the east. You're going to be taken to the east by Griffin again. You'll be dropped off at a very small little camp. A very small little camp called DRIVETHRU. And it is in the western part of the Orakan Desert, which is to the east. I will show you guys actually a map. So here's the map of where you guys are going to be headed to. You guys are here in Parnas on the left-hand side. Now you're going to take a Griffin pretty much all the way to DRIVETHRU. And DRIVETHRU is where you're going to be needing to meet up with a caravan. And Parnas, of course you guys know that Parnas has been involved in the last year with a cult. A cult of the, you know, you guys know them as the Cult of the Dragon. And they had basically taken over the town. There was a cloud giant city that was here at one time that was actually docked. And they were trying to raise Tiamat. Well, another group of adventurers basically thwarted that, crashed the tower into the side of the mountains ahead in the Grey Peaks. But there's still rumor of cultists kind of still dwelling in the town of Parnas, even though it's not out in the open. There are no names, nothing like that. There's still rumors that the cultists still kind of are around, if you know what I mean. So, as part of this cleansing, or so most of the citizens of Parnas have thought that these, you know, cultists are gone, there is a statue that you need to help retrieve. All right, and this you're gonna have to go to DRIVETHRU, meet the caravan there, because that's where this statue is, and you're gonna need to bring it back to Parnas. This is a new, basically, statue of Engarad, which is basically the triune goddess. And it's basically a deity that is a threefold deity. And this new statue is, you know, it represents spring, and this is going to be the new shrine. So word had gotten out that Engarad was going to be worshipped here in Parnas. So a statue maker out in the Orakan Desert had got word of this. And word had got back that this statue of Engarad had actually just shown up at DRIVETHRU with basically a message attached that it was supposed to go to Parnas, and that's where you guys are tasked to bring this statue back. So you're going to take Griffins to DRIVETHRU, and then it should be a 10-day trip back from DRIVETHRU to Parnas, and that is where this next adventure is going to take you to DRIVETHRU. You're going to have to meet up, and you guys have gotten information from your organizations as well, and you guys can kind of talk about that on the way, because you guys will stop a few times for camping along the way to DRIVETHRU. So you guys get the Griffins, you start to head to DRIVETHRU, you stop a couple times. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before you get to DRIVETHRU, which is the camp where you have to meet up with a caravan with the statue and whatnot? Kind of have to do a little bit of investigating and whatnot.
If I say the blue crane flies thusly, Would anybody else answer?
And flies to the north.
Excellent.
We're in the goddamn desert. Who the fuck is talking about a crane?
I love it.
We're
I
gonna
don't
need
think
a
there are
crane.
any cranes flying around here, guys. I think they're all dead.
I love it.
Now, a goblin or two, they love a desert, I think.
I, Kelleth, have no knowledge of cranes, blue and otherwise.
I'm sure you know something about blue stuff, but it ain't cranes.
So you guys are all sitting around a campfire at night. Actually, you guys are in the very westernmost part of the desert. Very cool night. Beautiful out. You know, it almost looks like water. It almost looks like you're in the middle of a sea with all of this beautiful shining sand that's kind of reflecting off of the moonlight. Very chilly. So you guys are sitting around
Kind of
a
strike up a
campfire.
conversation about has anyone traveled this way, or has anyone been to the east of Parnast, or been in the desert? No. Great. This should
Anyone?
go well.
No desert experience, although this is very calm and tranquil to me, the resemblance to the sea.
Well, don't drink what you step on here. Kind of like the sea. You don't want to drink the water, right?
That is correct.
Well, this is a little bit more hazardous than any sea, I think. Plenty of the enemies in the sea can't reach you in the boat. Everyone here is on your same level or above you. Underneath the sand are some pretty desert. Underneath the sands, the desert's not the sand. Other way around, sand of the desert. There is plenty of monsters. Be wary.
Like sand crabs?
Again, with your crotch and blue and now crabs. Here we go.
Sand? There's no sand in my crotch.
I'll
Yet.
wait for the first sandstorm to kick up.
Now, I'm well covered, well protected, and these other guys, they're not ready for the desert. I can tell that.
Oh, none of you are ready for the desert. You guys are flying from Barnes.
It takes a few days after the Lucy encounter to see if you have developed anything that lives in the sand.
Valen, have you ever been out here before?
No. I'm only level 2.
That doesn't matter. You could have maybe been a merchant or maybe some type of crab. I don't know. You could have been a crab farmer.
Oh, yeah.
For all I know.
Let me check my...
Well, I know the Black Road is I know who it belongs to, and it's not a group to be trifled with. They keep the peace well enough as long as they're paid. So the road should be clear enough. If there's anything other than my brothers upon the road, we should be able to clear them out.
No,
So
I
you-
spent my days in the temple.
You speak of the Zent?
Aye.
Do you have way with them? Do you have a way to speak to them and keep them from causing us any trouble?
The Zent keep to their own. You cause them trouble, and you'll have trouble. If you stay out of their way, you'll have none. It's best to stay out of their way.
So you're of like mind then.
I respect those that can protect themselves.
Very good.
Very nice.
I pack up and I'm ready to roll the rest of them.
Do I know anything about these blue cranes?
No, but
The only thing is I take it and show it to him, my hand kind of
okay.
crushed down. Not being overly obvious with it.
Little origami, blue origami crane. Yeah.
Yeah, I show you mine too, but I mean, do we know anything about these blue cranes? Is it a group or?
Mine's bigger.
Well, it just depends on what someone wants to share information. You know, this is a good time for you guys to RP it out. So
Would I have, with my role, Dave, would I have noticed that happening? Them showing off these cranes after
yeah,
speaking
you guys
with them?
are all sitting around a campfire. So yeah, you would see that.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask them both. What's with the... Oh, I see what you're talking about. Blue cranes, not real birds. What is it you have there, boys? See, you both have something of... Is this intelligence on what's going on here, or what are we?
Yeah,
What are we doing
our
with?
faction has sent us on at least some kind of side idea that if we went to DRIVETHRU, maybe watch out for giants, but they're still looking into Verada Store's death. In that she has research based on giants, so hopefully that we can recover something, and maybe even her demise.
Well, the way her head was crushed in, I'm assuming it was a giant.
She was fucked up.
Not the deadly thighs of a Lucy or something.
Oh man, she's got shit for thighs, but she's got one hell of a mouth.
Oh,
So your factions are sending you off on the searching for additional information on giants in the desert, huh?
more into her in the sense that she has research already on them. So yes, and more on top of that.
You know, also tells us to watch out for anything to do with blue cranes. And I have no idea if it's referring to people or actual blue cranes, or in the game.
Soon we'll find another marker.
Well, you'd say, seems like you should be on the lookout for blue cranes, then, huh?
So it would seem.
So are we flying? You said we're flying to DRIVETHRU?
DRIVETHRU? Yes. Yeah, you guys will arrive the next day. This is your last night of camping. It's only taken several days by Griffin. So this is
And
the
out in
last
DRIVETHRU,
night.
what we're heading out there to do is to help retrieve this statue.
Correct. And then help escort it back to Parnas, yes.
Gotcha.
Even
So
though
as
this...
we're
Oh, go ahead.
as we're flying out there, I'd like to just make sure and keep an eye on the road, see if there's any wayward travelers or anything out of the ordinary that would halt traffic on the road, on the Black Road.
Okay. Give me actually give me a perception check. And this is for your entire journey. Alright. So
Everyone?
what you have seen, you did see sort of like a choke point where there would be sort of like a defensive position, like a wall that was built up between a very narrow choke point in a valley. And this is, where the Black Road travels. So you're thinking it is possibly, and in fact, I'll send you a tell.
Gotcha. And the choke point would be best executed as we're heading west on the Black Road?
Yeah, you'll be going from east to west, correct.
Gotcha.
So
Oh,
you
wait,
fly
back, you
over
mean?
this. Yes, you will have to go past this point.
Yeah,
That-
but the
this
idea
is what-
is that I want to make sure that we're not going to have any issues coming back once we find this statue.
Yeah. Well, according to the information that you know about the Black Road, probably not. But then
Right.
again, the Black Road is a very volatile, a very long roadway, and there are a lot of things that do happen along the Black Road.
Shit
so-
happens in the desert.
Yep, you are right.
All right. And that would be just part of the way between as we're going, just to the western edge of the
Correct.
Black
Yeah.
Road past DRIVETHRU. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
In fact, I'll throw down like a marker or something for you. I'll put a dot
Perfect.
on the map.
Won't matter.
Probably around here. So
Sounds good.
always like to have a bag of dots and stuff. All right. So, anyone else want to discuss anything? You guys have been asking some pretty good questions and with one another. Sun will be up in a few hours. No? You guys are quiet tonight. Alright, so you guys make it to Vierthel. And you follow the Black Road all the way to this Vierthel. And it is almost looks like an oasis as you guys are barreling to the east, and you can see the heat coming up from the desert, and also in the distance it kind of looks like a mirage that's coming up, but as you get closer and closer and closer it doesn't dissipate, and it looks like a very small tent city of about maybe half a dozen tents or so. But
Maybe just be on high alert as we're coming in, I suppose. We're flying in, yeah?
yeah, you guys, it's like not like the desert makes people feel small and insignificant.
Sure, just have to be high alert. I mean, just in case, God knows what.
You guys are traveling, in all directions. There's huge dunes that just look like they're just rolling everywhere across the landscape. The sky is massive above you. You can see the horizons. Then you guys get to these sun-bleached tents in the vast Anarokan desert. And you guys know you're supposed to meet a caravaneer in this small little tent city. And as you guys land and start to look around, you can find a makeshift tavern. And as you enter, there's several other distinct tents. One that has desert style of apparel. There's one that has equipment that from the lands to the east and whatnot. And as you enter, and you guys are thirsty. You guys have pretty much used all of your rations, and your water skins don't even have a drop of water in them. So you find a makeshift tavern out of one of these tents, and you enter, and there's a pair of tieflings. It seems they're just enjoying the heat, actually. It doesn't even seem like they're unaffected by the heat, actually. And they're kind of, eyeing you. And then there's a lot of other humans and elves in this establishment, and they look like they are all affected by the heat, except for the tieflings. You can tell that they're actually kind of enjoying it.
I stride up to the tieflings and go, "Hail, brothers!
This is hail, traveler. What do
How
you
about I
seek
buy
here
us
in
all a
the
drink,
desert?
including my group?
Oh,
Join
that's my favorite type of introduction. Of course, you may buy us a drink. We'll allow you.
You draw it over to a table if there is a table, or the
Sure,
bar.
there's plenty of room at the bar, so you guys.
How much for drinks for all of us,
for everyone in the tent, we'll say
including our group and the two tieflings?
a gold. It'll cost you a gold. There's quite a few people in here.
Good,
Of course, for a gold, it's you're not going to get the best quality dwarvish ale or the best elvish wine or anything like that. But there are some people that are eyeing you as you come inside, and the interior of the tent is somewhat dim, definitely a lot darker than what it would be out in the blistering sun and the blistering light. The wind is kind of whisking into a couple of windows. But it is just as hot in here as it is outside, and you are just continually sweating your asses off. And there's also you can hear the gentle sound of a stringed instrument as well.